Welcome to the 1204. The Victoria Everest scandal. That has been a very hot topic. Every man, woman, and dog has an opinion. The very large majority of people, they have the same opinion, and that is Victoria is bang out of order. End of. Everybody seems to be on the same page. Everybody seems to be looking at the picture on the wall. Exactly the same. However, ZZ Mills, she is looking at the picture from a different angle. The angle ZZ Mills is coming from is that men, black men, need to make better judgment when it comes to picking women. Because according to ZZ Mills, she can tell just by looking at Victoria that Victoria is trouble. According to ZZ Mills, that particular individual who was falsely accused by Victoria, he, just like a lot of men, a lot of black men, they are blinded by the light skin beauty of a woman. And therefore, that man and other black men who go for women who are light skinned and who look like Victoria Everest, they then have to deal with the consequences. Now, obviously, there has been outrage over those comments ZZ Mills has made. A lot of black men have accused ZZ Mills of victim blaming and victim shaming. They take it a step further. They say that ZZ Mills doesn't like black men. Now, I agree that ZZ Mills was in fact victim blaming and victim shaming. However, I absolutely disagree with ZZ Mills disliking black men. I think it's the complete opposite. I think ZZ Mills likes black men. I think she loves black men. The problem is the black men that ZZ Mills likes, they do not like her. Because a lot of you guys, I don't think you guys can see what I see here. You guys just think this is just a over opinionated vlogger who doesn't like black men, and she's gonna come out with that kind of comment just to bash black men. But it's a lot deeper than that. ZZ Mills, she is a looked over woman. This is a unpickable pick me. The pick me who was never picked. Let me take you guys back a few years ago, maybe 2018 or 17, I can't remember. There is she's a YouTuber, she's quite big on social media. This half-caste chick, her name is Lin May. Lin May and Zizi, they were very good friends. Let's just say this was 2017, just for the sake of this video. So here we have almost 10 years ago. Zizi Mills was friends with this attractive half-caste chick, Lin May. Who remembers that scandal with that club in London, where the owner or the promoter of the club, they had a no black woman policy for the club. And it wasn't just a no black woman policy. He said, listen, you can have a black woman come here, but she has to be super duper attractive. Like I said, Zizi Mills and Lin May, they were very good friends. And Zizi admitted that they are no longer friends, because I thought it was strange that those two were not together. I think they even had a show together, but that did not last very long. When that scandal hit about a club that was saying no black women were allowed, I remember Lin May and Zizi talking about it. Because what actually happened was Lin May was talking to the promoter of the club. And Lin May was telling the promoter, yes, I'm going to come to the club with my girls. And they said to Lin May, what color are your girls? And Lin May went black. And then the guy said, look, listen, you can come, but if your friends are going to come, like, we don't want black girls there, but if the black girls do come, the black girls are going to have to be very attractive. I remember Zizi Mills' face on that podcast when they were all talking about it. And you could see it deep in her eyes. That wasn't the first time she was looked over. Let me tell you guys something. And it's not just women, it's men as well. A lot of people have a problem with being looked over. It's not just women. Like, think about this right now. How many times do we see a lot of guys in a red pill who are very unattractive and they are telling women to not go for a guy's looks? So if you've got a woman who's on there, and if the woman says, oh, she only goes for guys who are good looking, she's not interested in money, I want to go for a guy that's good looking, these guys are going to tell her, you need to choose better. The same men, they take pride and they take joy in when a woman goes for a guy she's attracted to and it ends badly. They then tell that woman, oh, well, this is what happens when you go for Tyrone. This is what happened when you go for Chad. You should have made better judgment. This sounds very familiar and very similar to what Zizi Mills said in that video about Victoria Everest. She's telling guys to make a better judgment. Because just like those red pill guys, Those guys have been looked over. Women are looking over those guys to look at the more handsome guy. And these guys cannot compete on that level. And that's why they make it about money and other things. That's what we're seeing here. So here you have Zizi Mills, who, and I have to be brutally honest here, she's not an attractive woman. She's not attractive and she's black. And with women like that, they believe that their lack of attraction is to do with the fact that they are darker skinned, rather than the fact that they're just not pretty. And these women have a complex. They are very, very bitter towards lighter skinned women. Imagine Zizi being friends with that girl. I know that Zizi would have found herself in situations where a guy would only come to the group just to speak to her light-skinned friend. She was that dark-skinned, ugly chick. And I'm not saying that she's ugly because she's dark-skinned. She's just not pretty. Let's have it right. Imagine guys always coming to speak to the light-skinned friend. Guys throwing themselves at the light-skinned friend. And Zizi would not even have been consolation. Those guys would have come. They would have tried to move to the light-skinned chick, and if the light-skinned chick dodged the shot, they would keep it moving. She would not even have made consolation. And then you have a promoter who then tells Zizi's friend, you can come in, but your mates can't come in. You can come in, but send those black bitches to the Weatherspoons. They can't come in there. They're not fine enough. Not like you, we are light skinned ass. That is certainly going to create a complex for most people. The same way those red pill guys, like Tom Likers, take pride in telling women, well, that's what happens. You went after Mr. 6'5", and a pretty boy, and this is what you get. You went after that, you went after that male model looking guy, and this is what you get. It's the same thing Zizi Mills is doing. She's not attractive. Victoria is. And she's telling them, well, this is what happens. That's what you guys want to go for. That's what you get. Zizi doesn't hate black men. She just hates the fact that the black men she likes don't feel the same way. The guys that Zizi Mills is sleeping with, more than likely, she's not even attracted to them. The guys that she really wants are not going to go for her. Because the guys that she really wants, these guys have no problem getting a woman that's going to be attractive, who happen to be lighter skinned. And women like Zizi make it about skin. Let me tell you something right now. A lot of black women are very, very jealous of light-skinned women. A lot of black women, they hate when they see black men who lust after light-skinned women. Because they know that they will be looked over. That guy's going to go in his tiptoes to look over her, to look at the light-skinned chick. That's the reality. So these black chicks then become bitter, and then they take joy from when a situation involving a black man and a non-black woman goes south. They take joy. I remember when the plane was it a plane or the helicopter crashed with what's his name? The basketball player. Fucking whatever his name is. When that basketball player died in a helicopter accident. Did you know there were black women? The first thing that come out of their mouth was he wasn't with a black woman. He wasn't with a black woman, so I'm not gonna grieve for him. Well, first of all, yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be grieving for some celebrity anyway. But a lot of black women, they were unsympathetic towards that basketball player because he wasn't with a black woman. When a black man goes through a divorce, a black celebrity goes through a divorce, and a non-black woman, and when I say non-black, that also would include somebody who is half caste. Because you know my stance on that. Half caste people are not black. I'm not having it. These people, these black women always take pride in that. They take joy. Ah ha ha ha. Well, he wanted his preference. Who remembers what happened with Toby Chuku Obumseli? The black man that was murdered by his white girlfriend. Now, don't get twisted. A lot of black chicks are going to hide behind the fact that he said some derogatory things about black women. They're going to use that as their reason. Yeah, they're going to cite that as their reason for not showing any empathy towards this guy. They say things like, well, fuck him, he got what he deserved. He talked about shit about black women, and then this white chick killed him. Fuck him. That's what they're going to say. But I'm telling you, it's got nothing to do with that. Because had he not said anything, or had it not have been revealed that he said anything like that, those black chicks were never going to march for this guy. Because he chose a non-black woman. I promise you guys this. Some of these black women, they would even wish death, or not even wish death, but they would celebrate death on a black man if they find out that that deceased black man was not with a black woman. I'm not joking. And especially, I remember black women mocking that black American guy who was killed in Colombia. They was mocking him. But then they stopped mocking him. Should I tell you guys why? Now, I forgot the guy's name. My memory is so bad. What was his name? Anyway, you guys can Google it. He was killed a few years ago in 2021. Now, you had Cynthia G celebrating that this guy was gunned down in Colombia. Because to her, this guy was a typical passport brother. That's what you get for going over there, fucking around with those Latinas. But guess what? The chick he was in a relationship out there with was black. So when they found out he was black, all of a sudden they stopped because it didn't fit the narrative. The narrative is, if you go with a non-black woman, then you're playing with fire. Let me tell you something. Zizi would not have said anything. I mean, it's obvious. Zizi would not have said any of those words if that girl was a dark-skinned woman who was average or ugly looking. But because she saw a pretty light-skinned chick, and she knows a lot of black men are gonna drool over that chick, Zizi was swallowing sour grapes. Because she has a complex of being looked over. Because she knows that if that woman comes in the same room, I mean, forget the fact that that woman also some kind of celebrity, I suppose, or she's a bit known. Let's say no one knew who that woman was. If that woman steps in the same room as Zizi, despite Zizi being a celebrity, nobody's gonna pay attention to her. No black men is gonna pay attention to Zizi. Zizi who? They're gonna be looking at that chick there. That's all. That's all this is about. This is bitter. This is bitterness and sour grapes from a looked over black woman. Peace.